The comparisons have been made, though, to Chris Minns, and I don't think you can all lay it all at Peter Dutton's feet. The Jewish community itself, not one homogenous group, but there have been some very loud voices who've been quite critical of Anthony Albanese, comparing his actions to that of Chris Minns in New South Wales. Now, Anthony Albanese hasn't gone as far as Chris Minns, hasn't been as emphatic. Is that a warranted comparison?
Oh, no. Like, I can't imagine how more clear the Prime Minister, senior ministers, everybody in the government could be on the question of anti-Semitism.
Well,
Chris Minns is doing Chris Minns is doing the job here that you would expect to see the Premier of New South Wales do.
If I could just say, this is not coming from me per se. This is not coming from Peter Dutton. This is coming from the Jewish community. And on the UN votes, for example, you've seen this draw the ire of Benjamin Netanyahu's office as well. I mean...
But let's separate these things out a bit. I mean, I think it's a good thing that there's strong voices in the Australian Jewish community who are making the argument. No problems. That is a welcome contribution to the democratic debate here. It's wrong, though, for political leaders to try and, wander around looking for an argument, desperately trying to point the finger of blame. There is no relationship between Australia at the United Nations exercising votes in the Australian national interest. I appreciate there's disagreement, and there should be. There should be disagreement across the community about all of these questions, but we are unequivocally for a two-state solution. Unequivocally for peace.
Why should there be disagreement?
Well, it's natural in a democracy, Laura, for there to be disagreement. I just say that's fine. For political leaders, though, to be ramping up the language all of the time, but that does have consequences. There is no relationship, though, between votes at the United Nations and the decision of what appears from news reports of two anti-Semitic young people to drive a car into the eastern suburbs, set it on fire and spray paint. What would be terrifying for local community members, this event. And to draw that connection just smacks of desperate partisanship rather than what is the job of us here in Canberra is to focus on the national interest. Right? And to say what is in Australia's interest here? What is in Australia's interest here is social cohesion. Can't we separate these things from the partisan conflict? Peter Dutton is unable to separate his interest and the partisan interest from the national interest. And he makes a lot of noise, Laura. He makes a lot of noise.
It's convenient to lay it at the feet of just Peter Dutton because that is your political opponent. But it's not just him saying it. It is Jewish leaders saying it.
But I welcome that contribution, and we listen really carefully to Jewish leaders who, as you say, have different views about all of these subjects. That's what we want to see in a democracy. I just say political leaders, the test is a bit different. And what Peter Dutton does is he makes a lot of noise. It's angry. He's reckless as to the impact on social cohesion and the national interest. He doesn't care. In fact, damaging social cohesion is in his political interest, so he gets about doing it.
Why do you say that? What's the example of that, damaging social cohesion?
Well, just trying to equate Australia's position as a responsible middle power in relation to a two-state solution, trying to equate that somehow with anti-Semitic violence that is reprehensible. And it's just characteristic of this bloke who makes a lot of noise. He's always angry.
But it was Netanyahu's office that
as to the impact that it has.
Yeah, it was Netanyahu's office.
It was Peter Dutton. Yesterday it was Jane Hume. This claim, I understand in what is in all of these things, I'm just saying political leaders in Australia have a responsibility. This bloke is incapable of discharging his responsibility. He's always angry, always reckless. As I was going to say, you know, my mother used to say, empty vessels make the most noise. And this bloke is an empty vessel. He is all about conflict, all about looking for an argument, all about making lots of noise, never about the hard work in the national interest.